Okay, so we need to talk about this direct. I think Nintendo's shown their hand for this generation, and this isn't looking too good. So, for one thing, we're having Mario Galaxy again, and we're having Galaxy 2 in a combo pack for $70, and then we're also going to be getting them. You can get them standalone for 40. These are 10 and 15, almost 20-year-old games because I believe Galaxy 1 came out in 2007. Nearly 20-year-old games that are releasing for $40, $70 in this day and age, which is absurd. And the thing is that this isn't like this is a remaster or a full-on remake. This is just the bare minimum of like HD like texture packs, because you can see that, you know, the environments like haven't really been changed or modified. Like they haven't like fixed a lot of things, because actually for this very start here, so you can just see here that even from here, this isn't even full resolution, but you can see that the environments are still pretty rudimentary, all things considered. And also you can see how the grass texture on the side here doesn't transition into the rest of it, which was fine when you're working with, you know, a 480p resolution. But I mean, now, I mean, this is HD, you know, you can just see things like this. And it's not, and I know that's, you know, more of a nitpick than anything else. Now these games are even older and they're charging more for them. And that makes no sense. And I don't want to hear anyone defending this. I mean, look at, like, just, I appreciate the, you know, old graphics, don't get me wrong, but this is stuff, you can't be charging that much for environments that look like this. You know, just look at this. And you can argue, of course, you know, oh, it's the old game. That's the problem. That's the problem. This is an old game. So they shouldn't be charging full price or more than full price. They should charge this. They should be, these games, they should charge them appropriately, but they're not, because they know that people will buy them, and then not only will they buy them, people will defend this, and it makes no sense. And to me, this is just like the result of people just defending Nintendo just uncritically and just accepting everything that they do. And the only real difference that I'm seeing is that they've decided to make the UI a little different, which I'm glad they didn't completely flatten it like they had been doing before. But just skimming through this trailer, I mean, the game still looks like okay, you know, in modern day. But I mean, you know, we've come a long way since this. Just making it higher resolution, it really highlights how dated this game looks. Look at Toad's model here. I mean, just come on, they couldn't even redo his fingers or anything, because it already looked rough in the original, and they just haven't updated this stuff. And it makes no sense for them to be charging $70 or even $40 for this without addressing things like this. And I think one of the few things they're actually adding to the game is a few extra pages to Rosalina's book, which, I mean, I guess will be pretty interesting to see. But for the price increase here and the amount of corners they're cutting, this isn't acceptable. And that's not to mention that both of these games kind of control like garbage. So I'm pretty used to the way 64, Sunshine, 3D Land, 3D World, and Odyssey control. But Galaxy actually controls pretty bad, and Galaxy 2 as well control. I'm just like, out of all the 3D Mario games, they probably feel the worst to play. And I don't think that's a very unpopular opinion. I mean, they don't control, like, they're sluggish. And the way that you jump, the way you have to move, it's a pretty slow-paced game, all things considered. There's not really much flow to your movement, because there's no, like, your fastest movement is going to be just long jumping everywhere. But outside of that, it's really just, you know, you kind of just go. And so there's like no rolling, there's no diving, there's no really anything to, like, you know, to get you into a flow state. You really just kind of like, it's like kind of stop and start running and jumping. Granted, the level design was built around that, but just saying that, you know, it should just be known that these games don't necessarily even control the best. And if they don't improve the controls for this, or, you know, just like tweak things for these re-releases, I mean, that just makes even less sense. I wonder how many people are going to have a rude awakening when they learn that Yoshi was actually controlled with the pointer, which will likely be gyro/touch controls. So I don't know if they're going to modify the game to have a more traditional control scheme for Yoshi, but that's going to be real rough if they don't properly accommodate for that. So while I didn't really like it very much, back when the game first released, I actually do like the pointer controls for Yoshi, but I don't know how this, this generation that's, we're kind of in an anti-motion control era now, so I just wonder how the gyro aiming's gonna work for Yoshi when people, pick this game up thinking, oh, Yoshi, yeah, I can't wait, and then they realize it's like pointer controls, unless they changed it to where it's not like that. But I mean, just saying, that's just something to think about. I hope they do something to, accommodate for the touchscreens, or else I don't even know. Like, I really don't. The new Mario Tennis actually looks pretty good, all things considered. I feel like this is what Mario Tennis Aces should have been, and I appreciate that they're finally updating the UI and making it a little more distinct than it had been. I was getting so sick of Nintendo's UI choices, and I might get into this a little bit more later, but oh my goodness, I am so sick of their plain UI. I also think it's funny how they're actually referencing Mario Wonder here, and they have yet to reference Odyssey. I just wonder if they're going to add in an Odyssey stage, like either a New Donk City or some kind of stage that's a reference to Odyssey, because if they don't, that'd be hilarious. Because I have this headcanon that Nintendo just does not like Odyssey, and if there's no Odyssey stage here, that all but confirms it, because they've really just tried to abandon that game ever since it came out. Because I mean, Talking Flowers have become a mainstay, and we just have not seen Cappy. And I do like how they look like they're going to be doing an adventure mode, though. Oh, they're doing the thing with the UI again. I'm not getting my hopes up too high, because I remember how Mario Golf Super Rush handled their single player. So I'm going to keep my expectations low, because if they pull another one of those, then I'm just, I'm not interested. This is probably the most interesting game I've seen so far, because if it's anything like what they did with Mario Super Sluggers with that whole campaign mode, it was a pretty simple campaign, but it was still it was a fun thing. It was a fun way to go and unlock characters. I think it was called challenge mode. It was a fun way to unlock characters. So if they do something similar here, then that'd be fine. It'd have to be like at least as complex as that, because challenge mode, I went back and played it recently, really wasn't all that complicated. I would just hope that they try to do just that. That's what I'm hoping for, just to make a meaningful single player game. And they've got a really good setup for it here, because you have all the babies, including a baby Waluigi now. I don't hate him, and I think Donkey Kong's being an adult still. I think that might have some bearing on the plot, but and also CG cutscenes, can't ignore that either. That being said, I mean, if all the babies have different abilities that they can use in the overworld, then we could have that little challenge mode back from Super Slugger, so that'd be really interesting. I'm hoping this isn't just gonna be a walk back and forth simulator, or like, chore simulator. Hopefully there's gonna be like a little bit in the way of like, interaction, or like, something engaging to actually do, but my hopes aren't very high, unfortunately, because after Mario Golf Super Rush and Mario Tennis to a lesser extent, my expectations are just pretty much non-existent for this kind of mode. Overall, this looks like it could be a fun package, but I know it's just going to be overpriced, so again, expectations are pretty low. Like $70 for this. I mean, again, guys, spin-offs, they're supposed to be cheaper than the mainline games. Like, that doesn't make any, like, it used to be where spin-offs were actually less expensive than mainline games, and then we'd also get like, mainline game, spin-off, mainline game, spin-off. But now it's just like, you get a mainline game this year, then you get a spin-off next year, and then like you get spin-offs for the next like 5 years, and then you get another mainline game. It used to be like you get like a mainline game like every, like, I don't know, like 5 years, and then you have like some spin-offs and like, some smaller scale ones. It's maybe some like, middle of the road kind of like spin-off / mainline games. But now is like these releases are just like so spread out, it's ridiculous. And the thing that makes it so bad is that they're so shallow a lot of the time too. So like whenever a spin-off does come out, you get tired of these games so quickly because they lack depth and replay value. Also, I'm noticing for this artwork, I'm seeing the same Goomba. I'm seeing the same one over and over again. I see the same one right there. I see this one here, and then that one's like it's copy pasted over there. And then the same Goombas right here is also right here. They just like copy pasted the same Goombas. And maybe it's just me. These look like cardboard cutouts. Like the edges, if you see right here, these are all like, they almost look like flat textures that have been positioned around here. Did they just copy paste images here? Because these don't look like they're actually here. Bowser looks okay. Peach and Daisy look fine. Toad, obviously, but like the crowd, like audience members, These especially back here look fake. Yeah, so I'm seeing this Goomba here with this expression, with their mouth open like that, and it's like copied over here and copy pasted over here. They copy pasted, but these don't even, they look like PNGs. It doesn't look like it's like even fully rendered. That's so strange. Anyway, now this, to those who are unaware, this is nitpicking. This is nitpicking. Pointing out glaring flaws of the game, that's not nitpicking. This, about the box art, that is nitpicking. The Mario Wonder DLC just looks like it should have been in the original game. Lest we forget that New Super Mario Bros. On the DS released with a dedicated versus mode and minigames that you could play either solo or with 4 players. To release this mode as an afterthought here just feels like an insult, because this just looks like, I know the game is like 2 years old, but even still, this should have been part of the base game for like a 2D Mario game. It doesn't make any sense for them to be doing this, especially like, okay, so you buy the Switch 2, you get like a Switch 2 like exclusive stuff. Even still, I feel like if you're gonna do something like this, they should just like, this should have been the base game, and then you get the Switch 2 version, you get like expansions. There's like no reason for this to be Switch 2 exclusive. Like, it's a 2D Mario game. These versus modes here look like they would have been perfect for the original game, but they're just not here. And this looks, you know, just kind of slapdash. I mean, this looks fun as a distraction, and that's just it, it's a distraction, which is fine for the original game, but if you're adding this as DLC, little distractions, you shouldn't be selling little distractions as DLC. Just put them in the base game. And I'm pretty sure this is paid DLC too. Just the fact that it's also paid, like, it's like, okay, you bought the Switch 2, great, now give us extra money for this. Not to mention that this isn't coming out until spring of 2026. That's a long time. This is the kind of announcement you should be making for like a new game. They're announcing DLC for a game from 2023 for 2026 in September of 2025. Like, does that not sound ridiculous to anybody else? And this new Yoshi game looks like yet another derogatory, good TM game from Nintendo, with the most experimental thing about it being the art style, but it doesn't look particularly interesting in the gameplay department, which is a shame because it actually looks like it has potential to be creative. Just based off what they've shown, it doesn't seem like they're gonna do very much. They're like, oh yeah, here's how you can make flowers bloom. Like, but what does that even do? And then they showed off this thing with the dandelions that like suck the life out of different creatures. But honestly, don't hate me for this, but this game almost looks like an asset flip. Cause like, okay, right. So take away Yoshi, take away Crazy Daisy, this background and this part of the foreground, this is not a Yoshi game. Like, there's nothing like distinctly Yoshi about it. Like, you could replace this with some just like indie character and it just looks like just another, you know, it just looks like a regular indie game. And then they haven't done anything in the gameplay department. They didn't show off anything to really make this game stand out. And that's not to mention that Yoshi looks borderline photoshopped in at times, because he does. Yoshi does not belong in a world that's drawn this way. If they made another Wario Land Shake It game with this art style, I'd buy that. But this, as it stands right now, especially even with the like lowered frame rate and stuff, like Yoshi looks like he's been modded in. I mean, these environments just look kind of just so like by the numbers. So people will claim that Nintendo was going through a, you know, New Super Mario phase. But if you actually played a lot of like the 3DS spin-offs, then a lot of this stuff probably won't stand out to you that much, because Mario Wonder, what it did with its visuals was already being done previously if you had played the Mario vs. Donkey Kong games on DS and 3DS. So to see this here, I mean, these backgrounds, they look okay. Actually, no, they don't really look that good. They're just paintings really, but nothing like stands out. It's just like a regular just painted environment. But credit where it's due, they're not using the same flat, boring UI that they've been using since Breath of the Wild. I mean, seriously, Odyssey, Mario Tennis, Mario Party, and so many other games just use the exact same or extremely similar UI with barely any changes, and I am beyond sick of it. Like, it just screams bare minimum, and at least they're doing something a little bit different with this, so that's nice. And I also mentioned that for Mario Tennis as well. They at least are changing that. At least it looks like they're trying a little bit. For that extra $10 they're trying to tack onto every game, $10 to $20, $30, $50 trying to tack onto every game. At least they're doing a little more with the UI, but I mean, still, that's not by much though. I was never really much of a Tomodachi Life person, so I don't really have much to say about that. I mean, it looks like a fun little distraction, although given Animal Crossing New Horizons, I feel like this game will have as much or less content than the 3DS version, but maybe that's just me, because this island looks pretty small. Because I mean, this is just like what, like 2 streets and that's it. I don't know if there's going to be other areas that you're going to be able to go to, but if this little strip right here is it, ooh, that is going to be, that ain't good. That's not to say that they have to make an absolutely massive world, but this looks a little, well, this looks pretty small. I'm sure a lot of stuff can happen here, but I feel like the visuals will get pretty dull after a while. I mean, this is just, okay, again, take away the Miis. This is a Unity Asset Store island area that's had Miis plopped onto it, okay? Like, with that in mind, this is all you're going to be seeing for like a potentially $60, $70, $80. You can buy an asset pack like this, plop it into Roblox, and have a game that takes place in an area like this, and have it fully explorable on foot, and just make your own little Roblox RP server. I mean, you can do that. You can. Just keep that in mind before you shell out like $60, $70, $80 for this. Yeah, no, seriously, I'm pretty sure I can find something that looks similar to this. Maybe not, of course not one-to-one, but okay, let's do it right now. Okay, so here's a Unity asset pack that you can get for free right now, and it even comes with like a nighttime section here, but like there are asset packs that I think this is even bigger. Like, so we have, okay, so we have this right here, and this is the Tomodachi Life. This is the Tomodachi Life environment right here. Of course, Tomodachi's is slightly more stylized, but I mean, just think about this. This wouldn't take a whole lot of time to properly get the proper lighting and stuff. With some very minor tweaks, you can get this looking more like this. Just before you spend $60 to $80 on this, just think about that, okay? Think about what people are charging for environments like this. Just think about that before you spend money on this. I've never shared my opinion on Kirby Air Riders, but it looks overpriced, and my opinion on that hasn't really changed with this Direct. It would still be overpriced even at $60, but it's $70. Again, spin-offs generally didn't retail for the same price as mainline games, and I don't really care how this game turns out. Just the audacity to charge $70 for a spin-off is insulting. And even though, Sakurai makes very good games, they're not worth $70 out the gate. Because, I mean, even if this game gets updates and DLC, $70 is just never a price that you should be paying for a video game out the gate. Games are just not worth $70. And speaking of insulting, Nintendo is re-releasing the Virtual Boy as a $100 accessory with no tech inside of it. I know that the fans have already been defending this by saying there's a cardboard version, but that honestly makes it even worse. The plastic model Virtual Boy already has no tech inside of it. It's just a plastic case, but this cardboard version is just a piece of cardboard. This is a Happy Meal toy. No, they're selling you the Happy Meal box. They're not selling you a toy, the box that the Happy Meal toy comes in. They're selling you the box, and it's not even to play good games with either. If this company actually cared, the very least they could do is redo the sprites in color to make them look decent if you don't want to play with the 3D. But they don't even have the decency to do that. And I don't know about you, but Metroid Prime is starting to look worse and worse for some reason. Like, this right here doesn't look good. This looks like a PS3 game, and that's not good. Like, I mean, the bike looks okay, but it's like, okay, here's the thing, right? We've already been through this song and dance before. Make the game series open world and then give them a motorcycle. I mean, we've had this with Breath of the Wild, we had it with Mario Odyssey, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and now Metroid's getting in on the action. Making every game series go open world was one thing, but now they're chasing trends within their own company. Like, what is this? Of course, this actually, well, okay, so the graphics, like, they don't really look that good, but I mean, at the very least, this is actually pretty nice back here. But I mean, this ain't exactly what I'd be playing Metroid for, Like, this just, some of this, I mean, still looks kind of sick, but I mean, it's, I don't know, the more I see of this game, the more worried I get. Yeesh, those textures are ugly.
This is where you're from, DK? This island is beautiful.
Pauline telling bold-faced lies? Okay. Alright, timeout. This looks like a slightly higher res version of the model that they used for K. Rool's Final Smash from Smash Ultimate, and apparently this is $20 paid DLC, bringing the total cost of Bonanza up to $90 if you want to experience everything. And To those who want to defend this by saying, oh, you don't have to buy it, they're still locking off content away from you, effectively punishing you for buying the game because you don't want to spend the extra money. You don't have to get this, but also you're going to be missing out on some of the game by not buying it. Especially when you consider that this DLC is coming out less than 2 months after the game released. That's absurd. And we've already got people saying they regret buying the DLC. Somebody's already calling it a scam. But yeah, this is pretty much what I expected from DLC like this. Like, there's no way that they're actually gonna, you know, deliver anything significant with this DLC, because they want $80 for these games, right? That's what they want to charge for these. They want to charge upwards of 100. The problem is that Mario Kart World got backlash. So they're like, okay, well, let's just release the game at 70 and then just tack on this DLC for 20 so we can get even more than 80 for it. Yeah, so we can get what we wanted. And then here's the punishment for not accepting $80, that you paid 90 for this. And so people are buying it and already regretting it. This console is like the definition of the sunk cost fallacy. Like, people are thinking like, okay, if I just buy in now, then, you know, it'll be worth it later. It's like, that's not how it works. There's no reward in being an early adopter anymore. When you see they're driving up the prices for like decade-old games and trying to charge full price for them, that's how you know that early adoption, there's just no point in early adoption. As soon as they started upping the prices, I was like, oh, like, just don't engage with them. They need to like be humbled in order for them to start charging decent prices again and start operating like an actual business instead of like being entitled to money. And so I'm like, you know what, I'm just not even gonna bother with this ecosystem. Also, this is that flat UI I was talking about. It's just like plain UI. It's just like plain text. Maybe you put like a little tiny drop shadow around it, but that's what pretty much a lot of Nintendo games have been doing. And this actually has drop shadow. A lot of times they don't do that. And yeah, you just have like just flat text everywhere. I know this game's already been out for a while, but this is what I was meant by like, I appreciate Yoshi not doing this with theirs, just by actually, you know, having something aside from just plain numbers. Also, I'm not a Pokemon fan, and the fact they're doing paid DLC before the game has even launched, rest assured, I will not become a Pokemon fan after this. The fact that they're doing paid DLC and people are already skeptical is just like, okay, do not buy it. Just don't buy the game. It's fine. Just skip it. Just you can hold off. Show some self-control. But just like, there's paid DLC on top of everything else. It's like, I think this game's gonna be like over $100. I think it might be like what, like, I heard someone say it's like, it'll be like 110 or something for this game after you buy the DLC. Let me see, how much does this cost? Yeah, I just looked it up. This DLC is $30. That is ridiculous. I mean, what can you even say about this? Okay, yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. That was just, you Switch 2 defenders, eat your hearts out. They're gonna keep defending this until they themselves can't afford it anymore and be like, oh no, wait, Nintendo actually isn't good. Like, no, they're just trying to take advantage of their customer base. But I mean, that's what they want by supporting this business model, because it's not going to get better. It's not going to get any cheaper. You want to call people poor until, you know, you're the victim. But I mean, that's just whatever. I'm in a position where I personally could afford a Switch 2, but I'm not going to get one because that just doesn't make any sense. Like, I mean, yeah, I was like, oh yeah, I can afford one, but like, what would I do with it? I'm not going to play it. The games just don't look like they're worth the price. There's so much more going on in other places. Like, I mean, you know, Silk Song just came out. You can replay these coming out, and there's plenty of other games in like my backlog I can play. Like, even physical games that I picked up a while ago that I haven't gotten around to. There's plenty of games to play, and Nintendo's just doing, you know, their remakes, re-releases, and just price gouging for games that really, to me, don't even look like they're worth the asking price at $60, $70, and now they're upping it to $80, $90, $100, $110. So I'm just waiting for a price cut. Actually, you know what? Even if the price gets cut, I don't even know if I'm gonna be buying one, because their DLC practices are so gross. Like, even though Nintendo's online services aren't really as bad as other companies, because it's only like, you know, $20 something a year, what they offer you for online play, you can just get on your computer, and you don't even need a particularly powerful computer to do it. And speaking of things your computer can do, you can get Super Mario Galaxy and Galaxy 2 on your computer very easily with just a few Google searches. On eBay, of course. And you can find the games for like a fraction of the price Nintendo is charging for it. The absurdity of Mario Galaxy being as expensive as it is just, wow. Their greed knows no bounds. I mean, I don't know what else I'm trying to figure out what they aren't charging for at this point. Like, it's such an expensive ecosystem to get into that, you know, it's just kind of flip-flopped. Like, because like, you can just get like a half decent laptop for like $200 and you'll be able to play pretty much anything that you want, either on Steam or by emulating. I mean, even if you get a Steam Deck. I mean, okay, again, there's no such thing as Steam games. It's like the Google Play Store. There's no such thing as Google Games. It's just a storefront. You just buy games on Steam and you just play games on it, and then you can emulate. Like, that's simple as that. There are so many other better places to play these games. You don't have to pay these ridiculous prices for them. Honestly, even just getting this stuff on original hardware nowadays is probably cheaper, because people are just selling this stuff and don't really care about the games, and so, I mean, you can do that too. I'm glad to see that more and more people are getting fed up with these ridiculous prices, and I'm expecting to see even more people come to their senses as Nintendo continues to push the envelope. With that all being said, I hope you all enjoyed this little ramble, and I'm interested in hearing your thoughts, so be sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, and don't forget to subscribe to see the next post as soon as it goes live. Alright, take care.